Hey there, space explorers. Rocket, are you ready for an amazing adventure through our solar system? Glowing star, we're going to visit all the planets, from the blazing hot sun all the way to the icy worlds at the edge of space. Get ready to learn about giant storms, rings of ice, and even planets that spin sideways. Globe showing Europe, Africa, there's so much to explore, so hop on board and let's take off into the stars.
If you don't like science but still love cool facts, then stick around. We're about to explore the sun. Imagine a sphere so massive it could fit over 1,000,000 Earths inside. Now, picture it ablaze with nuclear reactions, spewing out light and heat across the cosmos. That's our sun, the heart of our solar system. It's a fiery giant, converting hydrogen into helium at its core, a process that releases an incredible amount of energy. This energy travels from the sun's core to its surface, and then journeys millions of miles to reach us here on Earth. But it's not just a big light bulb in the sky. The sun's magnetic field is like a cosmic dance, creating mesmerizing phenomena like sunspots and solar flares. These flares can even disrupt our satellites and power grids. So next time you soak in the sunlight, remember, you're basking in the rays of a colossal, awe-inspiring star, a true marvel of our universe. Stay curious, space explorers.
Now that we've met the sun, let's zoom over to the first planet in our solar system, Mercury. Mercury is the smallest planet, and it's also the closest one to the sun. Imagine being so close to the sun that you feel its heat all the time. That's what Mercury is like, super hot during the day. But here's a surprise. Even though it's really hot during the day, it gets freezing cold at night. Brrr. Mercury doesn't have air or clouds like Earth, so when the sun sets, all the heat disappears. That's why it can be over 400 degrees during the day, but at night it's colder than a freezer, more than minus 100 degrees. Wow, that's a chilly planet. And guess what? Mercury is also the fastest planet in the solar system. It zooms around the sun so quickly that it only takes 88 days to go all the way around. That means a year on Mercury is only 88 days long. If you lived on Mercury, you'd have a birthday more than 4 times a year. Even though Mercury is super speedy, it spins slowly. One day on Mercury, how long it takes for the planet to turn all the way around, lasts about 59 Earth days. That's a long day. Mercury's surface is full of craters, which are like big holes or dents. These craters were made by space rocks crashing into Mercury. Since Mercury doesn't have an atmosphere to protect it, those rocks hit hard and left marks everywhere. So, even though Mercury is small, it's super interesting. It's the hottest and coldest planet at the same time. It's fast around the sun but slow to spin, and it has a surface full of craters. What a cool little planet.
Venus, the hottest planet. After Mercury, let's fly over to our next stop in space, Venus. Venus is the second planet from the Sun, and it's sometimes called Earth's twin. But don't let that fool you. It's very different from Earth. Even though Venus is about the same size as Earth, it's much, much hotter. In fact, Venus is the hottest planet in our entire solar system. The temperature on Venus is around 465 degrees Celsius all the time. That's hot enough to melt metal. Venus is hotter than Mercury, even though it's farther from the sun. Why? Because Venus has thick clouds that trap all the heat like a big hot blanket. Can you imagine living under a blanket of heat all the time? Phew, that would be tough. Those thick clouds on Venus are made of poisonous gases, so it would be impossible to breathe there. It's also super windy on Venus, with crazy fast winds that blow all the time. And guess what? Venus is covered in volcanoes, more than 1,600 of them. Here's another fun fact. Venus is the slowest planet to spin. One day on Venus, how long it takes to spin around, lasts longer than an entire year on Earth. That means if you stood on Venus, you'd have to wait more than 243 Earth days for the sun to rise again. Can you imagine a day that long? And here's something even more amazing. Venus spins in the opposite direction of most planets. So if you could see the sun from Venus, it would rise in the west and set in the east, the opposite of what we see on Earth. So even though Venus looks like Earth's twin, it's a super hot, windy, and volcanic planet with a super slow spin and an opposite day. Venus may not be a place to live, but it's definitely an exciting planet to visit. Now that we've visited Venus, let's say hello to Earth. Earth is the third planet from the Sun and the only planet in our solar system with life. Earth has water, air, and land. That's why life thrives everywhere. 70% of Earth is water. That's why it's the blue planet. Earth has an atmosphere, a layer of air that keeps us safe and helps us breathe. The atmosphere protects us from the sun's rays and ensures the planet doesn't get too hot or cold. It's like Earth's invisible shield. And guess what? Earth isn't just standing still. Earth spins around. This is why we have day and night. When our side faces the sun, it's daytime. When we turn away, it's night. Earth orbits the sun, taking 1 year, 365 days. This gives us 4 seasons: spring, summer, fall, and winter. Each season brings unique weather, making Earth colorful. Earth is the perfect planet for life, so we need to take care of it. Protect our forests, oceans, and animals to keep them healthy and happy. There's no place like Earth, so let's keep it beautiful. After Earth, we're off to visit Mars. Mars is the 4th planet from the Sun, known as the Red Planet. What makes it so red? Mars's soil has lots of iron, which mixes with oxygen, making it rusty. Mars is smaller than Earth, and it's a cold, dry planet. There's hardly any water, except for some ice at the poles. Temperatures can drop to -80 degrees Celsius at night. But here's something cool. Mars has the tallest volcano in our solar system. It's called Olympus Mons, and it's about 3 times taller than Mount Everest. Mars also has the biggest dust storms in the solar system. These storms can cover the entire planet for weeks. Mars has 2 tiny moons, Phobos and Deimos. They're not round like our moon, they're bumpy potatoes. Some people think humans might live on Mars someday. Scientists are working on ways to grow plants and build homes there. Would you like to visit Mars one day? It would be quite an adventure. Mars is cold, dusty, and dry, but full of amazing things. Giant volcanoes, powerful dust storms. Maybe one day, Mars explorers. Goodbye for now, Mars.
Hey there, space explorers. Today we're venturing to the most massive planet, Jupiter. Look at those colorful bands and that huge red spot. It's like a giant swirling masterpiece. Wow. Let's blast off to the biggest planet, Jupiter. Jupiter is the 5th planet from the Sun, and over 1,300 Earths could fit inside. Wow, that's huge. Jupiter is a gas giant, made mostly of gas, not solid rock like Earth. You couldn't stand on Jupiter, just swirling clouds and storms. Isn't that fascinating? Speaking of storms, Jupiter has the biggest storm in the solar system. It's called the Great Red Spot, a giant hurricane raging for hundreds of years. The storm is so big, 3 Earths could fit inside it. Jupiter spins faster than any other planet. One day on Jupiter lasts just 10 hours. That's really quick compared to Earth's 24 hours. It takes 12 Earth years to orbit the Sun. Jupiter has 79 moons. The 4 biggest are the Galilean moons, Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto. Each one is unique. Ganymede is even bigger than Mercury. Scientists think Jupiter's moon, Europa, has an ocean under its icy surface. Maybe there's even life there. Jupiter is too stormy and gassy to visit, but it has the biggest storms, fastest spins, and coolest moons. Next is Saturn, the planet with the famous rings. Now it's time to visit one of the most beautiful planets in our solar system, Saturn. Saturn is the 6th planet from the Sun, and it's famous for its amazing rings. Those rings aren't solid, they're made of ice, dust, and rocks. Some pieces are as small as a pebble, while others are as big as a house. Saturn is a gas giant, mostly made of gas with no solid surface. Its atmosphere is hydrogen and helium. The same stuff in balloons. You'd fall through the clouds. Saturn may look peaceful, but it has crazy storms. Winds can blow up to 1,800 kilometers per hour, faster than Earth's strongest hurricanes. Saturn has many moons, 83 to be exact. The largest is Titan, bigger than Mercury. It has lakes and rivers of liquid methane. We can't stand on Saturn, but scientists are curious about Titan. Some think there might be tiny life forms. Maybe one day we'll send more robots. Saturn isn't just famous for its rings. It's full of storms, speedy winds, and mysterious moons. Wave to Saturn and its dazzling rings before we head to the next planet. Now, let's visit Uranus, the 7th planet from the Sun. Uranus is called an ice giant because it's made mostly of icy gas like methane, which gives it that cool blue-green color. But here's something really wacky. Uranus is the only planet that spins on its side. It's tilted so much that it looks like it's rolling around the Sun. Because of this tilt, Uranus has crazy seasons. Each season on Uranus lasts 21 Earth years. Imagine summer or winter lasting that long. Uranus also has rings, just like Saturn, but they're much thinner and darker. They're made of tiny ice and rock particles. Uranus also has 27 moons. The biggest ones are named after characters from plays written by William Shakespeare, like Titania and Oberon. So even though Uranus is far away and super cold with wild seasons and a unique spin, it's a very cool planet to visit. Next, we travel even farther to Neptune, the 8th and last planet in our solar system. Neptune is another ice giant, and it's the windiest planet of all. Winds on Neptune can reach up to 2,000 kilometers per hour. That's faster than the speed of sound. Neptune is similar to Uranus. It's made of gas like methane, which gives it its beautiful blue color. But Neptune has something extra exciting, a giant storm called the Great Dark Spot. This storm is like a huge hurricane swirling around on Neptune's surface. And just like Uranus, Neptune has rings, but they're very faint. Neptune also has 14 moons, with the largest one called Triton. Triton is special because it's the only large moon in the solar system that orbits its planet in the opposite direction. Even though Neptune is cold and windy, it's full of amazing storms and mysterious moons. It's a wild, windy planet way out at the edge of our solar system. Now that we've visited all the planets, let's take a trip to the edge of our solar system, where we'll find Pluto. Pluto is a dwarf planet. It's much smaller than the other planets, and it's way out in a place called the Kuiper Belt, a region full of icy, rocky objects. Even though Pluto is small, it has some really interesting features. It's covered in ice, and it has a heart-shaped region called Tombaugh Regio that makes it look like it's sending love from space. Pluto also has 5 moons, and the biggest one is called Charon. Charon is so big compared to Pluto that some scientists think of Pluto and Charon as a double planet. Even though Pluto is no longer considered a major planet, it's still a super cool world way out in the distant solar system. And who knows? Maybe one day we'll learn even more about this icy dwarf planet and the...
Thank you for watching. Kindly subscribe, comment and like and support this channel.